Credit repair experts.
It's never gonna get old.
No, never. We're back, guys. We had to go get Jesse a coconut. We turned it into a cup. Let's go. Cheers, Jesse.
Cheers, Brendon. You can't see it. Wait, there we go. My virtual background is distorting my cup. It's weird.
What you drinking today, Jesse?
Black coffee with some MCT oil in it.
I just had lemon tea with some black seed oil in it, and now I'm drinking GT's Trilogy Kombucha.
Nice. I also got this morning I had my shot of apple cider vinegar with I did a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Y'all better not steal my recipe. It's a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and then if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll just do a tablespoon of water and throw a little bit of cayenne pepper and shoot it down. Or if I want a nice hot drink first thing in the morning, because that helps out with helping your blood circulate better and everything, then I'll just add like a cup of hot water to the apple cider vinegar and the lemon juice and just drink it like that.
Heck yeah.
It's good stuff, man. It really is.
Guys, y'all better listen up. Let's go, credit repair experts. Hey, next week I'm going to try to have guests on here. I want to have Keith, and I want to have maybe Olivia, a few others join in so y'all can see the whole team. I think we might do that the next live stream.
I don't know if we can have Keith on there. He's not very politically correct.
It's okay. You're not either.
It's true.
I'm probably the most politically correct, and I don't consider myself politically correct either.
It's a weird scale, political correctness, because it's not like actual correctness, right? Like the measurement isn't how correct are you. It's how can you say things without actually saying things as to not offend other people. So you kind of have to be kind of correct, but kind of not so correct that it hurts their feelings.
Right. Well, you need being truthful and then saying what makes people feel better. Two different things.
Exactly. Yeah. Political correct versus honesty. What do you want your politicians to be? Politically correct or honest?
Right, exactly. Now, for some reason I'm not live in my Facebook. It may be taking a second to catch up. I know we're live here on YouTube.
So we're going to wait until about 5 minutes before we dive in?
Just about. I just want to make sure we're live on Facebook. I wonder because I started the live late if it did.
When you select the live button, was Facebook selected?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it should be live on Facebook. Let me check the good old Facebook here and see if it shows up.
Yeah, go to mine, see if it's showing up. Hey guys, I got new internet, by the way. Give me hit thumbs up on this video and put in the live chat if I'm coming in loud and clear.
Oh, you got a LINKTRee? Man, I didn't know that.
Hell yeah, I do.
I don't see the live on here, but let me check lives. It doesn't look like that's a Facebook feature. I can't just check lives. Yeah, I don't know. As far as I can tell, it doesn't appear that you're live.
Here's what I'll do then. I'm just gonna go ahead and link the live stream in my Facebook.
Good idea.
All right, Don says great video and audio quality. Thanks, Don. I'll be giving you a call after this live stream. Awesome. So let me go to the YouTube channel, and I'm gonna add the live stream. and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Sweet.
Yep, there it is.
Those 2 cans and string made all the difference.
What did you say?
He said, Don said, those 2 cans and string made all the difference.
Oh, yeah. All the younger folks aren't even going to know what he's talking about. I only know because of I watched all the Looney Tunes cartoons.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is something that they did in the Looney Tunes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only reason I knew about it. I tried it with my brother. I'm like, this is a scam. All right, there we go. All right, I added it there so they can look at it. All right, so looks like we got some viewers here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody, once again to the one and only credit repair experts. We give you a Hare Krishna there and a hallelujah there. Today is the day that we talk about leveraging debts to build real wealth. And the reason that I decided to talk about this today is because I was inspired by watching some interviews by a gentleman named Robert Kiyosaki. And did I say his name right? Is it Kiyosaki?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who did Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Because he talked about how actually he doesn't own any of his properties free and clear at all whatsoever. He keeps pulling the equity out of the properties and using those to buy more properties.
So he's leveraging his debt.
Yes, he's leveraging his debt. So I was inspired by him. So we're going to go into that here today. Before we do that, make a couple of announcements. We're still on track for our 5,000 subscriber giveaway. We are about a little over 800 subscribers away from reaching our 5,000 subscriber mark. So if you haven't already, click that red subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can be part of the notification squad. We need notification squad up in here. I know Ash and Madison are part of the notification squad. Let's go.
Ash can't be old enough. Ash isn't old enough, okay?
What do you mean? They got YouTube for kids now.
No, man. No notifications for Ash. Putting my foot down on this one.
So if you haven't already, click that subscribe, guys. That subscribe button. We'll randomly choose between. We're going to do an event giveaway for a few lucky winners. We'll announce what will be given away closer to when we're reach that 5,000 mark. So if you want to get there with us, please click that subscribe button and click that bell icon. And if you are watching live, we got 9 people watching live right now. So I should see 9 thumbs up on this video. Click that like button, you guys. That helps us out a ton on the algorithm. If you've been watching us for a while, go ahead and call our office at 817-389-7722 or send us an email at info@cre.credit. Okay, get yourself scheduled with a consultation with us. See if you'll be a good candidate for our program. We'll be able to help you guys out. We go live every Wednesday at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys ever have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions here in the chat. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I want to talk a little bit today, Jesse, about leveraging debt to build real wealth. And the
my favorite topic.
What's that?
So this is my favorite topic.
Yeah, because the system's been set up in such a way that the medium of exchange of value is no longer either a valuable good or a service. Now it's a paper currency. So it represents that value. And so we just really need to get used to that. And I think it's really important that we detach ourselves a little bit from the way that the money system works. So many people today, I think, kind of value themselves too much based off of how much paper currency they bring into their household, and how how much stuff they have acquired using that paper currency. I think way too many people put themselves down too much, or maybe judge themselves a little bit too harshly. You'll find that the really wealthy people are actually never out of debt. They teach all of the middle class people to get a job, save money, and get out of debt. All three of these things make you broke. All right, I'm saying it again. Saving money, getting a job, and getting out of debt makes you broke.
Job is actually an acronym. Tell them the acronym.
For job?
Yeah.
Job is an acronym for just over broke. So say it again with me, guys. JOB is just over broke. We actually have that hanging on the bus over here. So that and Robert Kawasaki, he talked about that. I'm really hoping I'm not talking about the motorcycle. Let me make sure that's his name first. Hang on.
I'll look it up for you. You can keep talking.
Yeah, it is. It's Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
So I'm really close. Robert Kiyosaki, not Kawasaki. That's a motorcycle.
And he's got a net worth of $100 million.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Kiyosaki.
So if you're not worth at least $100 million, this is good information.
Yep. And so what he did was that he leveraged his debt. And so he used debt to buy assets, to buy specifically cash flowing assets. So they need to be assets that service the debt that you take out. So that way you can get more and more debt.
Yes. And also, so whenever you're thinking about these types of assets, it's really, really smart to do a couple different types of analysis whenever looking into assets. Because I'm the one who makes most of our investments into other assets of the two of us. I really like to talk to people about, you look at these assets, you need to be determining quite a few things, but one of them is risk. So you need to calculate the amount of risk that's involved. And then you need to look at return of investment and how much time is going to be associated with that. So risk, time for turnaround, and then your ROI.
Correct. That's the systematized version of it. Now, you and I know this, Jesse. It's not really the system or the strategy that gets people tripped up. It's mostly the fear. That's why people don't do it. If y'all are watching this right now, give me a shout in the chat if someone told you, whether you were in college or high school or just got out of college or in your early 20s, put a comment in the chat if you had your mom or someone you know that cared about you, that maybe meant well, but told you that credit cards are bad, debt is bad, don't get into debt.
Yeah.
Raise your hand, put it in the chat, hit the like button if someone told you that. I want to see it, because every single, not only potential credit repair prospect that we talk to or funding prospect that we talk to has to overcome this fear, okay? Because we're getting you debt. That's what we're getting you. So this happens all the time. Yep, looks like we got some people in the chat. This happens all the time. And they mean well, but that's usually because they don't want you to do something because they have no idea how it works. And the human brain is designed that if we don't know how something works, we generally are going to avoid it because it could cause us pain. We are much more averted to pain than we are to seeking out that which makes us feel pleasurable.
10 times, actually. 10 times an aversion to pain. So
yeah, that's a lot. So I know some people literally make this their full-time gig, is to be kind of like a psychological business coach, but it really is that important. And for someone like me, that usually someone like me, that usually just means like doing it. I just have to do it, and the more that I do it, the more comfortable I am with it. Like at first, I wasn't very even comfortable with repairing other people's credit, just because I didn't have enough time under my belt to know all the nuances.
What if we fail?
Right? What if you fail? Like you have to really overcome that, because 99% of the time you probably will fail the first couple times. So like me and Jesse have started multiple businesses that have failed. Like we started a marketing business that failed in like a month. We started uh, uh, what is it? Well, he had a successful business consulting business, but it didn't really succeed because it's not what he was wanting to. It wasn't like the bigger thing that he was anticipating.
Right.
So, but there was no fear of failure there. So everything that happened, uh, everything that happened led up to this point. So it was really a development strategy. Mr. 1099 says, "No fear, clean my credit up, and let's go." Yeah, we are. He's actually a client of ours, Jesse. So, um, absolutely, and he's got a great name too. So
yeah, I like it, Mr. 1099.
if you guys want to be like Mr. 1099 and have no fear, call us right now at 817-389-7722 and get your credit fixed, Habibi, because the market is about to get worse and worse, and we don't want to be making reactionary decisions on what the market's doing. We want to be ahead of the game. So get ahead of the game, get your credit right, so you got options. You don't even need to get any funding if you get your credit fixed. Like you don't need to do anything with it, but just having it there as a resource is so important. You might end up utilizing it later on. So anyway, yeah, so leveraging debt, the first thing really you have to do is get over the fear. So once you're over the fear, then coming to the place of actually where to park it, that's where it's really helpful to have some colleagues or someone that you trust help guide you in the right direction. You probably surfing YouTube right now, figuring out different ways to make money, people doing Amazon fulfillment, people doing drop shipping stores, people doing cryptocurrency, people doing stock trading, margin trading, people doing, selling courses online, all kinds of stuff. And all of those are genuine ways to make money. But you need to know exactly the risk assessment, how you're risking your leveraged position, and what you can afford to lose. And always, if you can, try to diversify and have multiple places that money is coming in.
Absolutely. Because, actually, before we dive too much into that, there was an in-between step, Brendon. So, there's the fear, right? And then what we're going into, which is leveraging. But then you have to also, there's that middle ground where you come to the realization that debt is actually an asset. Like once you understand that money is actually just debt and that you can actually use debt to make more money, then you come to the comprehension of, oh man, so debt isn't actually like this thing that I should avoid. It's actually an asset. And the more I can show that I'm able to actually meet the obligations to fulfill these debts that I've acquired, then the more debt that they'll actually let me take on. And that now you've actually expanded how much commerce you can do by expanding the portfolio of debt that you have allotted to you.
That's a great insight, Jesse. Could you go a little bit more into that?
Yeah. So say, for example, earlier whenever we were talking about investing and ROI and stuff like that, say like, you're one of those people who's like, you're a doctor or something like that. And you've been told by, all your family members, hey, you should go to college, you should get a whole bunch of debt, you should become a doctor. And then say like this doctor has been, paying off his student loans and he bought a house and he's got the nice car and he's doing all the things that he was told, but he's struggling and he's going, day by day, in spite of the fact that he's got a good income. So then he realizes, oh, you know what? Actually, I can leverage all this debt that I have. And so he actually, we'll say he stops making payments on his student loans. His credit will take a small hit. But if he knows us, he can get his credit fixed, right? So honestly, not a big loss there. Then he starts taking all that money. He allocates it over towards paying off his house. And now he's actually building equity in his house. So what happens once you build equity? Well, once you have equity, you can actually take out a loan on your house using the equity that you built into it. So if he is smart, he will take out a loan using this equity that he's gotten, and then he'll use that to make a purchase for, say, something that's going to give an investment, like we talked about, something that's going to net him an ROI under a specific amount of time. Usually you want to set goals for yourself, and then he's going to get that ROI in that specific amount of time after he's calculated the risk, and he's going to put that equity, that debt that he got using the equity from his house, and he's going to put that into an asset that's going to start cash flowing him. Well, guess what? Now he has the same amount of debt that he started off with, right? That debt from the house, the debt from his college, the debt from his car, and everything else. So same amount of debt, but now he's got his doctor's income and he's got a cash flow coming in from this asset that he invested in. So now he's got two streams of income, and so he can pay off his debt significantly faster. And that's an example of how you would leverage your debt. And then you can, of course, once you get it paid down again, you can take out another loan and you can level up your investment, or you can diversify and go into another investment. But that's the kind of the power of thinking about debt as an asset instead of the traditional way, which is pay off your debt and just don't have any.
Yeah. And so that being said, Jesse, why don't we go into a little bit about the different kinds of debts and the different kinds of assets and liabilities? Sure. Because this is something that kind of is a little bit, I think, vague for people, because most people, and Robert talks about this, I think he talks about it in Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about how most people think of their wealth as income and expenses.
Right.
So most people think about how much is coming in and how much they have to pay out. Yeah. And then they save whatever's left over, usually. So, but a wealthy individual thinks of things in terms of assets and liabilities.
Right.
So an asset is either something that retains its value or generates passive cash flow. So if you had to acquire debt to get this asset, it can only be an asset if it cash flows.
Positive.
What's that?
Yeah, if a cash flow is positive.
Yeah, it's more than the debt servicing.
Exactly. So if you buy a house, for example, the average ROI for a house is only like 7%. So people who do real estate usually have to do real estate for a long time to actually really start making money off of it. Just a fun fact for you: if you start a business, your ROI is like tens of thousands of percent if you are good at it. So just know what you want to get yourself into, and then approach it in that aspect. But yeah. Anyways, I forgot where I was going with that train of thought.
We were just talking about what assets are. So on the asset side, if you took out a loan to get this asset, it has to cash flow you more than what the debt servicing is for it to be an asset. So
exactly. So if you get a mortgage, for example, and you're paying $1,500 on your mortgage, and then you're paying $400 in property taxes, you come out to about $1,900, and then you put a tenant in that house, right? And then they have to be paying at least $2,200 for you to be coming out a net positive. So
yes. So property. Nowadays, Turo is very popular for car rentals. So car rental service. People even doing like electric scooters and stuff. Shout out to Jake if you're watching this. And then other popular cash flow mechanisms would be like a certificate of deposit, or just places to put your cash, like maybe even in Forex or something where someone's trading for you if they're trustworthy. But then you look into risk also. So like the house is like the lowest risk, and because everybody needs, you still retain the value whether it's being rented out or not. You always, if you have to, you can liquidate and pull the money out. But if you're just living in your house, then that's considered a liability.
Right.
Okay. So and liabilities aren't bad, but that's why people call it LLCs, because you want to limit your liabilities. You want to limit to where being commercially liable. You still should be responsible. Never should you have a limited responsibility company. Right. Just a limited liability company. So,
dropshipping stores are actually another good example, because you actually have to purchase the item, and then you have to, fulfill the order, and then you make money on the back end. So you're actually typically putting that purchase on a credit card.
Yes. So, yeah, it's a good point. So, and then there are assets that don't cash flow, but as long as you didn't leverage debt to acquire them, then they're still considered an asset because they retain their value, like precious metals. If you purchase a house free and clear without taking out any debts, land.
Actually, Brendon, I don't mean to undermine you there, but there's usually still some output that goes into managing that. Like if you buy a house, you still have to pay property taxes, for example, maintenance, things of that nature.
Yes. If you're living in it. Right. So a lot of times we'll go into more, I think eventually here on this channel, we'll go into more taxes, because that's really a very complex topic, and they made it complex on purpose so that you just save and pay. But
there are ways to get around it. Yeah.
Yeah, there are ways to get around it. But generally speaking, it'll appreciate more than how much they're charging you in taxes, hopefully. So, but it's generally a safe bet, because you can pull the money out of it. I could pull out an equity loan on it, things like that. So, but mainly precious metals are like the inflationary hedge machine. They hedge against inflation really well. And so if you purchase them, those are assets on your books. Now, if you leverage debt to get it, then they're a liability technically, because they cost you in order to keep that gold or to keep that silver. So, and then even certain things that you buy free and clear, like a car, even this RV, is technically a liability, just because we have to maintenance it to keep it operating smoothly. Most of the labor jobs in this country are to keep things that break all the time from breaking, or to fix the things that break all the time. The power company people, the water company people, the foundation people, the repairs, the vehicle repair guys, all these people, what are they doing? Just fixing things that break all the time. Are they designed to break? I'm not going to say.
It's arguable.
It's arguable. They're designed to break.
Funeral homes.
Yeah, Ford, if you're watching this, we know that you make all your machines perfectly. We would never, never.
Man, I have a Bronco, okay? I take that personally.
Well, hopefully they did better than in the mid-2000s.
Yeah.
But mainly, the main culprit of that, I think, is the technology companies, cell phone companies. Like my other phone, like bricked. Now I got the super fancy Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra Gangsta Supreme, and
23 cameras and IR and night vision. And
guys, this is already it's already in the process of cloning me. So be careful on that one. But like even these are liabilities or an asset, depending on if they're cash flowing you or not. So this thing cash flows me, so I consider it an asset.
Yep.
But that's also another thing, like the way that we do accounting, it's not one for one. Like not everything is only one thing. Accounting is actually using words properly, designating certain positions of assets and certain, like, for example, if I were to give Jesse money, if I were to give him money for his business versus if I were to donate to him money for a charity, the activity is exactly the same, but the way you account for that transaction completely changes depending on the intention and the disclosures and the medium with which that exchange is made.
It's actually really funny. Ivanka Trump was telling a story about her dad, and one time, whenever she was a girl, they walked out of one of his big hotels, and there was a homeless guy sitting out right across from his hotel, and Donald Trump looks at Ivanka Trump and he says, "You see that? You see that guy sitting on the street over there?" She says, "Yeah." He says, "That man over there has $10 billion more than I do." What he's referring to is he has $10 billion in debt from leveraging his assets.
Yep. And here we go. So I have right here. Can you guys read this, or is it inverted?
It's inverted.
I don't know how to fix it.
You can't.
Well, it says the Dictionary of Banking Terms by Barnes. And we're going to go to leveraged. Leverage. Money borrowed to increase the return on invested capital. Banking, the use of funds purchased in the money market or borrowed from depositors to finance interest-bearing assets, principally loans. What banks do, in effect, is invest their depositors' money in loans at high rates, high enough to cover the lender's cost of funds and operating expenses, and yield a profit margin or spread. Leverage increases when bank assets grow at a faster rate than equity capital, such as common stock, which acts as a cushion against losses. To keep leverage from getting too high, which might happen if banks grow too rapidly or make too many risky loans, commercial banks and savings institutions have to keep minimum levels of equity capital in relation to total assets. And then finance, the use of debt or senior securities to get a higher return on owners' equity capital. A firm issuing long-term bonds may be able to earn a higher rate of return from the bond proceeds, which are often invested in capital equipment, than what it pays the bondholders in interest. The result in financial leverage or capital leverage, because any increase in earnings benefits the corporate owners, not the bondholders. Issuing bonds has several advantages, provided the issuer can meet the debt service payments. Bond interest payments are tax deductible, although stock dividends are not. And a bond issue does not dilute the value of shareholders' equity. A bond issuer that is too highly leveraged, though, risks default.
Yep.
Great book to get, by the way, guys. This is the Dictionary of Banking Terms and then the Dictionary of Finance and Investment Terms.
Yeah. And essentially what they're saying, to kind of just to simplify it as much as possible, say you approach a lending institution and that lending institution lends you $20,000 in debt. Well, now two things have happened, right? You've gotten the $20,000 that they're lending to you, and then they have got this note that is a security that says, "Hey, I'm owed this $20,000." Now, if they want to, they can take that $20,000 security. They can actually sell that to anybody who's willing to purchase that debt from them. So now they've actually removed their liability from it, and they've handed that over to somebody else. And for the other person, that's pretty much like a guaranteed income, as long as they can ensure that the person is going to continue paying on that. So that's a long payday for them, and for the people who got rid of it, they mitigated their chances of if you were to default on that $20,000 loan. So some companies actually trade your debt whenever it comes to I guess buying securities.
Yeah, securities are another fun thing, man. Maybe we'll get into that on this channel eventually. I think eventually on this channel we'll get into the more advanced topics. I like that we're slowly introducing these topics to the audience because most people are still on learning the credit stage. So if you guys are kind of new to this still, check out our playlist on our channel. It's a Credit 101. That's a great place to start and to learn about credit.
Yeah. But that is an example of leveraging debt.
Yes.
Although I would not recommend anybody just go out and buy a whole bunch of securities. They do a lot of risk analysis on those.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't be able to afford them anyway because they're usually pooled debt assets like mortgages. So in order to buy a mortgage-backed security, you would need to be able to purchase 100 mortgages basically at like 80% market value.
Exactly. And right now would be not a great time to do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah,
So,
go ahead, Brendon.
Well, I feel like we've definitely kind of condensed a lot of information. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to ask questions. Ask some questions or make some comments. Because I did talk a lot. So if y'all have any questions or comments, even if it's not about what we just talked about, that's fine. Please feel free to do that. I know it lags slightly, so I'll give you guys a second to ask any questions that you got. I'm so happy I got internet that works, dude.
I'm so happy I got a pull-up bar.
Are you using the door frame?
Yeah.
Yeah, be really careful. Those always mess it up.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna buy one of those like full size like at home gyms, but one that's meant for like doing calisthenics and stuff on, just bodyweight training.
Like the one that John had?
Yeah, similar to that. A little bit more quality. This is a little rinky.
Sorry, John, not to throw you under the bus.
Spent like $100 on it. I'm thinking more like the $400 to $500 range.
Okay, cool.
That way I'm not like doing a pull up on. Doing a body up on it.
You got access to a full gym.
Huh?
You got access to 2 gyms.
Sure, but I don't have to travel if I have one of those at home.
True. I would be in that gym at that apartment every day.
Dude, that's a super nice gym. Honestly, like it's a full gym at an apartment. We got no questions.
Yeah, come on, y'all. I know y'all got questions. Does everyone on here have a perfect 850?
Maybe we put people in.
I don't even have a perfect 850. I still can't believe I got these bags under my eyes. Like, I'm not even tired.
You're just getting old, man. How old are you now? 25?
Yeah.
Dude, the scale that I got, it does like a full comprehensive breakdown of like your body and where it's at, and it told me my body's age is 35. I almost died until I remembered I've only got like a month until I'm 35, and then I was like, actually that's pretty accurate. Whatever. I was like, I'm only 34. How small panic.
How does it gauge your body's age?
It gauges like all kinds of stuff. It's like body mass and body fat, and like how many healthy fats you have versus how many like saturated. Not they don't call it saturated fat. It's more specific than that, but
trans fat.
Yeah, trans fat. Here we go. We got a question, Mr. 1099.
Based on the anticipation of the predicted recession this year, has your thoughts or plans for investments changed? Nope, not at all. Our investment strategies are recession proof. Now, we did do some other reactionary investments last year that did pay off, but now if you were to make those same investments now would cost you. And that was mostly in the crypto space. So the only thing that's changed is the amount that we're allocating to different asset classes. So we're allocating much less to crypto, and allocating much more to real assets and especially precious metals to hedge against inflation.
Yeah. And the reason that we were investing in so heavily in crypto at the time is because there was a huge crypto boom going on. And so we were trying to, put it in some assets that we thought were going to hit a home run, which were absolutely great assets. And they were doing amazing right before that big fall. And then, of course, whenever the crypto market started plummeting, those projects also plummeted. But right before that, they were doing awesome. Like if we had not have had that recession right now, these things would easily be netting us, like by this point, probably about $5,000 a day.
Yeah. He cries to the moon, if only, if only. Yeah. And it'll probably bounce back maybe in a couple of years.
I'm sure it probably will, honestly. I still feel pretty good about that investment, even though technically we lost about $4,000 on it so far.
Yeah, it'll come back. We're just going to put it all into yield nodes.
Dude, yield nodes are awesome. If you guys are here, yield nodes are the only thing that's still netting us a profit every single month. It's down from what it was, but it's a percentage increase. They trade. That's what they do. They're just traders, and they trade in the crypto space. And they know how to go long, and they know how to short. And so, with the market doing what it is now, we were making about a 10% ROI every single month, but now we're making about a 6 or 7% ROI. So it's still doing good, even though the whole market's down. We're still coming out positive, which is awesome.
Yep, I'm actually gonna let me pull up. We do have an affiliate link with them.
Yeah. So if you guys want to take some money, like a little bit of money, you need at least $500. But if you guys want to like start putting your money into something that's going to net you a profit, yield nodes is a pretty solid bet. If you don't just have $50,000 to put it in a way better asset, that is. If you do have $50,000, there are better things to do with it.
Oh. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, here's our affiliate link. Let's see if it'll let me put it in the chat.
Yeah. And if you use our affiliate link, I think you get it's like $15 or $20. And
that's not what I was trying to do.
What the heck?
What is that?
That's a Facebook link. I think that's probably to the live.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Let me do that again. There you go.
Hey, there it is. Cool. So yeah.
Like here, is there a minimum?
$500.
Yeah. So if you guys want to sign up for yield nodes, and that's the only crypto investment we recommend right now.
Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't go into any other projects. Yeah. Personally, if you guys might know the crypto space better than I do, but I've spent a lot of time researching it, and honestly, this is the only project that I would touch right now.
Yep, Mr. 1099 says 6 to 7% a month is great. I would agree.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I wish we would have put a lot more money into this whenever we first got it, because, like I said, it's the only thing that's still consistently making us money every single month.
Yep. I am going to put that in the description after this video. I'll put the yield node link in there. It's a great resource. I would have said drip, but not right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend drip right now anyways. Not until it hits $1.
Yeah. Is it not even at $1?
I actually am unsure of what it's at right now.
Jeez.
Well, I can look. Here.
Yeah, please, guys, don't take out loans and get crypto. Please.
No, don't do that. I mean, not unless you're really good at trading, which if you are, then that's awesome. Get with us. We need more people that are good at trading. Yeah, yield drip right now is at 784. And in the last days, it's gone down 10%.
Bro, what was that? $80 when we got in?
Yeah. And no. It was like $120 whenever we got in.
Jeez.
And Stronger, it has actually gone down double that. So it went down 20%, and it's sitting at $3.43 right now.
Bro, is that $3?
Yeah.
Guys, this coin was at $1,200 at its peak. $1,200 a coin. Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Dude, share your screen. Show the notification squad and the Credit Experts Live squad what you just told me. We invested in this thing like what? January of 2021?
Yeah. So I guess we get to see all of our crypto investments, but that's okay.
I have to turn it on. Check that out. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, so these are all the projects that we're in. Drip, this bottom one right here, was really amazing. Actually, they're promising 1% on your what is it? Basically, they're promising 1% of whatever your initial deposit was, compounding every single day, which is massive. Like,
And they still are.
Yeah, and they still are, which is great. But because it's based off of fiat current, or because it's based off of an asset that changes prices, the worth of it is trending down. So even though they're giving you 1% a day, if it can't keep up with the market going down, which this has gone down 9%, so you get 7% in 7 days, but then it loses almost 10% of its value. Then you're still on a 3% net negative.
Yeah. So let's wait for it to. It's either going to bottom out to zero or hit a recovery. Now, the guy who created it also made Forex Shark, so I anticipate he'll be able to keep the project alive.
Yeah, it's a huge project, and honestly, whenever the crypto space recovers, if it recovers, which I don't see it, going away, this project should bounce back really, really powerful, and it's really cool because it's also backed by a stable coin. So I think that the lowest it could possibly go to is like $1 ish. But we never know what's going to happen in the crypto market. Of course, there was a stable coin that bottomed out. Stronger is what made us most of our money. We got into Stronger whenever it was $250, and then it went all the way up to $1,200. So,
yeah, and it was called Strong.
Yeah, it was Strong at the time. They switched it over to Stronger because there was so much sell pressure on the Strong token. And they really didn't change anything, which is why it's continued to just plummet.
Now you see the market cap is under $2 million.
Yeah.
They used to have like a $50 million market cap when we got in it.
Yeah, and it was ranked, I think, like 140 or something like that, and now it's ranked almost like 1,600.
Yeah.
It's just they've not been fulfilling promises that they've made to the community as well. So,
yep.
But yeah, I mean, we rode Stronger for like a year. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then we got Helium miners. So that's just, I mean, if you buy a miner, that's awesome. It's also great because it's the people's network. And then we used to have some other miners, which is why we've got these other things here. But we don't hold any Bitcoin. We don't hold any Ethereum. We're not in those projects. That's pretty much our entire crypto. Huh?
Besides the yield nodes.
Oh, yeah. Besides yield nodes. That's why we actually have Bitcoin and Ethereum, because yield nodes is actually split up between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And in spite of this downtrend that we've seen, like Bitcoin now is at, from about almost $90,000 last year to about $20,000 or $20,000 now. That's a massive decrease. In spite of those going down, those assets decreasing in value, yield nodes has still month over month produced us a positive return on investment, even though it's backed by these two coins. So
that's right. So we would definitely stick with them if you could. So Don asks a really good question. what are your thoughts on starting an IUL? I would say it's a fantastic idea. I'm actually glad you reminded me. That's the one asset I completely forgot to cover, but it's probably the safest one. It's probably the safest asset out of all the other assets that we talked about is life insurance.
Yeah, IULs are actually life insurance is also really great, not just as an investment, but as a safe house to store your funds for retirements. Because just full disclosure to everybody here, that's how you retire tax free, right? Like if you were to try to like start a 401k or anything like that, they're going to penalize you for taking that money out eventually. Uncle Sam's going to get his cut. But if you park it into an IUL, which is a life insurance policy, what ends up happening is you'll instead put that money into that life insurance policy, and you can pull a loan on the equity that you built up in the life insurance policy. And then because it's a loan, it's tax free, right? It doesn't count as money that you've made or income or anything like that. And then so whenever you pull out that loan on the equity, if you default on it, all they do is they subtract the amount of the loan from the equity that you built into the policy. It doesn't go on your credit score or anything like that. And then, so if you're planning on retiring, you build up $10 million in this life insurance policy. Then, if you're expecting to be retired for 30 years before you die, then you just say, okay, I've got 30 years to live. So I've also got $10 million. So I'm just going to take these 30 years, divide it by months or years or however you want to, and just pull that loan every single year, month, or however from that $10 million in equity that you built up. And it's all tax free.
It's also indexed. That's why it's called IUL. It's an indexed unified life. So meaning they actually give you a return every month on it as well.
So it's an index fund.
If you build it up enough, you can literally live off of the dividend payments. And the dividends that pay off life insurance are tax-free, unlike stock dividends.
And if you find a really good IUL, your return can be anywhere from, like it's usually right around like on the low end, 7%. So that's 7% on what you put into the policy, compounding year over year. But sometimes it's like as high as, I had a guy who did life insurance, and he's like, the highest he's ever seen is like a 21%. That's 21% on the equity that they built up in the policy, for years. So she got 20% of like $1 million. It's massive. Yeah, it was massive. That's not normal, right? It doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen.
Yeah, it's usually between like 4 and 6.
Yeah,
but it's still really good, and it's tax free. So if you are watching this, if you're young, start now. If you're old, start now. Just whatever, just start right now. If you can, take one out on your kids also. That'll actually build their equity up, and it'll be really easy to get a policy. And by the time that they're old enough, they'll have passive cash flow coming in from that policy. You'll be helping them out a lot instead of putting their money in a savings account.
Also, one stipulation on that: both parents, if you're planning on getting one for your kid, have to have a policy of equal value on themselves before you can get one on your child.
Yes. So y'all should be doing that already. So, yeah. And then one last thing about asset classes: 401k keeps the wealth away. Say it with me again, Jesse. 401k keeps the wealth away.
And explain that really quick, Brendon. It's just simple math for anybody who knows anything about
math. So y'all know 401k is a tax code classification, and a 401k is where usually your place of employment has a contract with a hedge fund to take your money and trade it on the stock market. But after all the fees and all the interest, and it's based off of the evaluation of the stock market, you almost always end up losing money, whether it be purchasing power or literally losing money. Either one, you lose. Yeah. And we talk about this actually within the life insurance courses that I'm currently taking.
Yeah.
If the market goes up 50%, let's say you have 100,000, market goes up 50%, you have 150,000. The market goes down 50%, now you have 75,000. Cut it in half. Now, let's say market goes down 50%, you have 50,000. Market goes up 50%, you're back at 75 again. So you lost money going up or going down.
Yeah. If you start off with 100,000, it goes down 50%. Now you're at 50,000. Then it goes up by 50%. You get 50% of that 50,000, which is 75,000.
Yep. It would
So
have
you're
to be
still didn't
100%
break even.
recovery to go back.
Yeah. It requires exponential growth.
Yes. So it's a scam. If you have a 401k, though, you're in luck because you can transfer those funds to an IUL with no penalty. So if you have a 401k, I would encourage you to look into other options and transferring your funds over into an IUL.
Yes, absolutely. And sadly, we are not brokers for that, so you can't use us to do that.
Yet.
Yet.
Yeah. We will be very soon, man.
But we do use that strategy for ourselves. And then one other cool thing about IULs, if you own a house and you don't have an IUL, get one. Because if you get an IUL, you can take out a loan on the equity that you are building in that IUL policy, and you can use that loan to pay off your mortgage, and then you can just pay that loan back from the IUL, and it's no interest.
Let's go. No interest.
Yeah. So I'll say that again. If you have a mortgage, you are paying interest on that mortgage every single month. If you get an IUL policy, you can take out a loan for the equity that you've built into that IUL, which is guaranteed to get approved, and you can take that loan and pay off that mortgage. And seriously, the math is something like, because it's also building interest, you can pay off usually a mortgage within like 7 years or so on the average income. It's like nothing special. So yeah, get an IUL if you don't have one already, especially if you have good health.
Let's go. Yeah, if you have good health. M. Maravi talks about being on the Uniform Postal Union and making yourself the postmaster. I think we'll do a video about that in the future. It's a little bit too much to get into right now, just because we're almost at the hour mark. So I want to give you guys a little bit of opportunity to make some more comments or questions before we close out this live stream. We were late, so we wanted to go over a little bit.
And right now we've got a lot of like mix between like credit stuff and private stuff, and we are planning on making a channel exclusively to talk about all this private stuff. So we'll of course link to that in this channel also, so that y'all can get the links to that channel eventually, because obviously, y'all love talking about this type of stuff, and we love talking about this type of stuff. But ultimately, this is our credit repair page where we help people, fix their credit and improve their credit so that they can later leverage their credit to do all the things that we're talking about now.
Yeah, it's credit and wealth management, and just about wealth in general. We of course can't separate it from the private aspect, because there is private credit, right? I have private credit with people who trust me, right? So if you don't know what credit is, watch that video on our page. What is credit? So that being said, what we'll probably end up doing is using my personal channel to kind of talk about more of the private stuff. It might just be the easiest. I'm starting to realize that how much of my personality is connected to this business, because every time somebody calls the office, they're like, "Hey, I want to talk to that guy with the ponytail," or "I want to talk to that dude with a beard." Like it's inevitable. So I'm not going to resist it. I'm not really trying to make this like a Walmart. I want people to know what's going on. So anyway, we're approaching the hour mark, guys. So if you don't have any questions or comments, I'm gonna have to get off here. My voice is starting to get tired.
Yeah, I've got some other things I need to attend to as well.
So we'll give y'all just like 1 to 2. After rebuilding someone's credit with credit stacking services, do you offer costs? Do you offer and
Do you offer and costs associated for those services?
um,
So basically, do you offer services and what are the costs associated with those?
what credit stacking services do you offer? Mostly credit card stacking for business or personal. And then typically it's anywhere between 10 to 15% on the back end after you get funded. Just
Yeah.
depends on which of the programs you are. But
And we choose credit cards just so everybody knows because credit cards are the only type of credit stacking where you can actually get, at least as far as we know of, the only type of credit card stacking where you actually get bonuses for getting debt. Also, like, I can use my Sapphire Platinum card, and if I tap into that every single year, I get free flyer miles. Like, you're not going to get that with a loan. You go out, you pull $100,000 in a loan, now you just have debt, which isn't bad. But with credit cards, if you use that same $100,000, now I tap into flying miles, and I can fly all over the country for free for the whole year.
Marvin T says, "What are your recommendations for personal business cards?" My recommendation would be to create a relationship with either Chase Bank or Navy Federal Credit Union or both. They offer really good cards, and then I would also check with your local credit union. A lot of them offer really good cards as well.
Yeah, the Chase Sapphire card is a good starter card, and then after a year, they usually give you the option to be able to upgrade it. So it's a great card. And then otherwise, Navy Federal has an awesome business card, and their starting line of credit is usually about anywhere from like $20,000 to $40,000.
Yes. So if you get past the government annoying stuff, they have great credit cards. They won't open up credit repair business accounts though.
No, they will not.
Y'all got to get with the times, man. So I think that about wraps it up, Jesse. If you didn't have any closing comments, then I'm going to bid everyone here adieu on this lovely live stream.
Yeah, so just I guess just as a really quick recap, it's really powerful once you get into the mindset of not anymore looking at debt as this thing that you need to make sure that you're free and clear of, and start thinking about debt as a way to leverage an asset once you've built a little bit of equity in it, and of course using that asset to get things that are going to help you cash flow so that you can build more wealth for yourself and your family and your network, right? And if you guys have that type of mentality and you're looking to build, then you're going to find that the system works a lot more with you instead of against you.
Yes. So, Marvy, I would definitely always build a relationship with multiple banks. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can have a business account with both. So,
Yep.
I would recommend both if you can.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that wraps it up.
Yep. So Hare Krishna, guys. It was a pleasure talking as always. We'll do another live stream next week, and then look forward to our next video here on Saturday. And now that I got good internet, the upload schedule will probably be better.
Heck yeah, man. Good internet on the swag wagon.
Woo! On the swag wagon, on the sovereignty train. Let's go! All right, Hare Krishna, guys. Let's talk to you again soon.